What's up, shinies? It is your friendly neighborhood Diamond, and welcome back to another creepypasta story time. So this cartoon is mainly targeted to younger kids. It's kind of like a Clifford the Big Red Dog type show, and overall, it's like a really nice show, which is why we're gonna ruin it for our childhoods today. Welcome to the lost episode of Max and Ruby. But wait, I almost forgot about the comment of the day. That's right. This comment's coming from It's Halloween Okay. They say, Diamond, freaking out about getting 100k views or something. 1.5 million. Good morning. Have a lovely day. And I really like this comment because it really shows how the numbers don't really change the fun of YouTube. I can get 1.5 million and it will still feel like getting 100k. I really just want to have fun again with YouTube, and if I can find a way to do that and also get views, then that's what I'll do. Play the intro. It was just this Christmas that went by, and things were getting busy. I had to start buying presents for the whole family. I just finished shopping, but I still needed to grab a present for my little cousin. She's not very hard to shop since she's only 4 years old. She likes things like Peppa Pig and My Little Pony. She really liked Max and Ruby, and I say really for a reason. So when I decided to go looking for a present, I figured something like a Max and Ruby DVD would have been perfect since she liked to watch it on a daily basis. However, Christmas meant that many of the online DVDs were sold out in most places. I went to go look on eBay as well, but figured I could not trust what condition the DVDs would have been in. So I was stuck in a rut for a while until that package arrived. I was at home still scrolling for a stupid DVD until I heard that sound of something being pushed into my letterbox. I caught hold of it before my dog did and looked at the package. It seemed to be wrapped fairly badly, with what looked like grease marks and stains on it. Naturally, as anyone would, I decided to open the package. Inside was something that I could not explain. It was a Max and Ruby DVD, but I have never seen one like this online. It was like some little kid had drawn on the front with a marker. The title was just Max and Ruby, with what looked like a poorly drawn illustration of Max and Ruby on the front. There were no names or anything, but on the back, it had a list of 4 episodes with blunt titles. Episode 1_0001, Episode 0_2, Episode _003, Episode _004, just like that in a list. I quickly gave the DVD a watch over. To my surprise, all the episodes were in perfect quality and seemed to have no flaws. It was as if it was a real DVD, just with a homemade cover. The only thing I thought appeared odd was the episode selection screen. The episodes had names, but they were all titled Max and Ruby, one with the numbers being changed as it went down the list. The actual selection screen was just a plain white screen with black text and nothing else. After giving it much thought, I decided to change the cover to something a little nicer by printing out a DVD cover that I found on Google, and I tracked down the names of the episodes so they were labeled correctly. So I left the episode list screen alone because I figured it was self-explanatory. Christmas went by and things were fine. I gave my little cousin her DVD and she was happy with it all through Christmas. But that was only because she hadn't watched it yet. On Boxing Day, the family had gone out for lunch and left me to babysit my cousin. I was not too bothered about being left at home. I figured now was a good time to put on the DVD for her. I had put the DVD in and allowed it to play while I was in the kitchen eating my dinner. From what I could hear, she had watched episodes 1 to 3 so far. I was just about to finish my noodles when I heard my cousin screaming from the other room. Dropping everything I had, running in the living room, and I saw my cousin curled up on the floor screaming. I had looked up at the TV and I felt my heart in my throat. What I caught a glimpse of was one of the most horrifying things I had ever seen. It was what appeared to be a frame of Max and Ruby standing next to each other in complete darkness. But what made it so horrible was their lack of faces. They had lost their noses and mouths, and their eyes were replaced with big black holes. The colors were a disgusting blood red, and there was faint static in the background. The sound was replaced with what sounded like the Max and Ruby theme playing backwards, with the faint sound of static in the mix of it all. It was one of the most disturbing things I had ever seen, and it must have been on the screen for at least 20 seconds before the screen went black and our television set turned off, which alone was weird because TVs don't usually turn off by themselves. I was able to calm down my cousin, telling her it wasn't real. She had just had a nightmare as she had fallen asleep in front of the TV. However, I knew in my mind it was completely real. My parents had rung me up and told me that they were going to be out all night. So this was going to be the best opportunity, if ever, to take a better look at the DVD. I didn't mention it to them, and as soon as I hung up, I grabbed the DVD before opening it on my laptop. As soon as it loaded, I noticed that episode _0004 had now been replaced with RIP Mommy and Daddy. This sent a deep chill down my back. Since my cousin was now asleep, I plugged in my earbuds so he didn't have to hear anything. Normally an episode of Max and Ruby would feature 3 short stories, but this episode only had 1. It started off quite happily. Max and Ruby were playing tag in the garden, and their parents were on the porch watching them play. However, something seemed off. The sound was playing in reverse, and the parents' faces were that of sadness. It panned to the mother and father, and in a voice of deep sorrow, the father spoke. "It's such a shame," he sighed. It then cut to the short sound of static and a loud scream followed by the sound of 2 people choking. The sounds felt so real it made me almost physically sick. The scene then switched to both Max and Ruby standing in front of what looked like a gravestone labeled RIP Mommy and Daddy. The 2 of them had no faces at this point. There was also no sound apart from faint static. This scene remained on screen for about a minute and a half before it cut away to black. It then changed the scene again, now showing Max and Ruby sitting in Ruby's room. Both of them were sobbing. The sobs were so realistic and heart-wrenching that it sounded as it was recorded from a real person mourning. What happened next was probably the most disgusting yet saddest thing I have ever witnessed. The scene had changed to Max sitting in his room. He was standing on a chair with a noose hanging from the ceiling. He placed the noose around his neck. My computer scene faded to black as the static got louder, almost instantly, and then cut to Ruby walking in on her brother. She let out a horrific scream as the background turned black. The camera was panned on her face as the sound of a chair being kicked and the same choking from before began to play. The picture of Ruby's face stayed on screen for a good 5 minutes. This time, her eyes had returned to the same black holes from before. Ruby then started crying. And as before, there were no other facial features. The static slowly grew louder and drowned out the sound of her cries. The scene cut to black with the loud static. When the screen returned, Ruby was standing, now on her own, in the garden by the 2 gravestones. One was labeled RIP Mommy and Daddy, and the other RIP Brother. At this point, I had already been sick and was sitting all shaken. The episode seemed to have come to an end at last, as an old computer noise started playing. I was about to eject the DVD when the same image came up like it did on the TV. This time, however, there was no text above the 2 rabbits which said, "Death is our only release." There were no credits or anything else. It stayed on this for a few seconds before the DVD finally popped out of my laptop. I sat there, trying to contemplate what had happened. In my shock and fear, I made the foolish decision to break the DVD up as much as I could before leaving the house. Afterward, I shoved the DVD pieces down the drain. Thankfully, I kept a few screenshots and saved them to my laptop. The next couple of days went past without anything unusual happening. I had a few nightmares about the DVD, but luckily that was all. My cousin had gone back home along with the rest of her family. It was a late night and my parents had gone out for dinner, leaving me to watch TV. I heard what sounded like someone posting something through the door. At this point, the DVD had left my mind since I haven't told anyone about it. However, it all came flooding back when I looked down at the letter in front of me. It was just messily folded up and said, "Death is our only release." First of all, I miss you guys. It's been like a month and I just miss making videos and all that stuff. But I'll tell you right now, the biggest problem I've been having is finding time to edit these videos. I'm running like 3 channels. I have to find this time to edit these videos and there's always something new happening in life and it's just a big problem. So then you would say, "Hey, Diamond, why don't you just hire somebody to edit the video? Hey, I can edit your video." I did hire somebody, and I don't know what it is. I'm hiring horrible people lately. Well, it's not horrible people, but just people who just can't deliver, okay? They're probably great people, but they can't deliver. I contracted an editor to make this video in which I'm talking in right now, and they haven't even done it, and they only wasted my time. You guys matter, and you subscribe to see entertaining content uploaded on a consistent basis. You deserve consistency, and that is why I'm here, okay? I decided I'm gonna edit the video. I'm gonna put out this content. I need to figure out a way to keep doing it and do it consistently. You guys deserve it. Thank you guys so much. See you later. Peace out.